Hi guys! Today we're going to be learning about the major organs of the human body. So, we have 9 of them, right? This is grade 4. So we have 9. So I have a technique so you can memorize all of them. So, first we're going to want to put them in 2 pairs. So 2 pairs, right? So we have the brain, heart, stomach, intestines, bladder, lungs, liver, kidneys, and skin, right? So we want to pair them. So I already said that. So we want brain and bladder. They both start with They both start with B's. So we need to pair them up together. Now we have already paired them up, so we can put that aside. Now we have skin and stomach, right? Those both start with S, so we have 1 pair. So we have to put them together. Now, well, do we have any other matchings? So we already have 2, brain and bladder, and then 4, skin and stomach. So we have 9, right? Let's try heart. Is there any other organ that begins with an H? No. So you want to just put the heart there. So heart, right? Now we have lungs and liver. They both of them match. And then we have kidneys. And then intestines. So that is 9. So we just want to pair them up. Brain, bladder. Remember this: brain, bladder, skin, stomach, liver, lungs, and then just add the remaining that don't have pairs, which is heart, intestines, kidneys. Yeah, so those last 3. And heart. Yeah. So, the most complex organ throughout our whole entire body is the brain. The brain is the largest and most complex part of the nervous system. It weighs about 3 pounds, 1.3 kilograms. It controls basically all activities of the human body, like memory, vision, sight, movement, and many more. And touch, breathing, yeah. So we have two types. So we have the brain, right? That's normal, right? And now we have these 2, which is conscious brain and unconscious brain. So the conscious brain is like alive, right? It's breathing, it's telling the other organs to move. So like if I want to walk, right? If I want to wave my hand. So I want to wave my hand, right? I have to do this, right? My brain is gonna tell my arm that it's their time to move. So my brain will tell the arm to move. And if I want to walk, they're going to tell my legs to move. While a person is awake, it shuts down when he or she is asleep. And some parts of the brain continue to work to keep that person alive, because it has to be still working during when you're sleeping, or else we wouldn't be alive. So now we have the heart, right? It's here in your chest. Now there is 2 ways for you to check your heartbeat. One, you could just put your hand, feel it. Or you could do this method. You can get your hand and then you put it on the vein, because your vein is connected to your heart, which does your heartbeat too. So The heart is a hollow muscular organ that is the size about a closed fist. So like this is about the size of your heart, right? It is located between the lungs in the middle of the chest. So imagine your lungs are here, right? And then it's going to be inside. So it's going to be here. This is the outer layer. And then this is the heart inside. And it's slightly towards the left of the breastbone. But it's in the middle of the chest cavity. So the chest cavity. It beats and contracts about 70 times per minute, which is a lot. 70 and 1 minute. 1 minute is not long. So that means it pumps about 100,000 a day. Did you know that the heart is called the pumping system of the body? Because of course it pumps, right? Pump, pump, pump. It functions as a pump to distribute oxygenated blood throughout the body in a day. So every time it pumps, it sends out blood through our whole entire body. So the lungs and the heart work together. The heart pumps approximately 4.7 liters of blood in an average adult. Yeah. It is the primary organ of the circulatory system. Circulatory is like pump, 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 like it pumps. Now, let's talk about the lungs. The lungs are the major organs of the respiratory system. Respiratory is like and they contain many blood vessels, arteries, veins, and capillaries. They inflate during inhalation. So they're like this, right? And then right? So they deflate during exhalation. So pretend this is your lungs, right? You're gonna breathe in. They go close and then they go out. So like you're holding your breath. They can inflate or deflate without losing their shape because they have elastic connective tissues. They are responsible for taking in oxygen and removing carbon dioxide from the body. So the elastic connective tissues stop them from losing their shape. Because if they don't have the elastic connective tissues, they would lose their shape. Like this could be larger, this could be shorter, this could be larger. Yeah. So they could lose their shape. Right. So now we're going to learn about the stomach. The stomach is a J-shaped muscular and hollow organ at the end of the esophagus. So yeah, it's like a J shape. So pretend I'm gonna draw a very bad stomach. So like this, like there's right here, and then it's like a circular thing. So yeah, I know it doesn't really look good, but that is the stomach. As you can see, there is a J in there. As you can see, there is a J. So that is why it's a J-shaped, muscular, and hollow at the end of the esophagus. So it can store about 2 liters of food, and yeah, for hours on the average. It is the main function is to secrete acid and enzymes for the digestion of food. So the acid is in your stomach, right? So imagine, right? There's another, you have a stomach, right? Right? And then, so you have the stomach, right? This is your stomach. And then there's acid. There's acid. And that acid helps digest food. Or else, if there was no acid, then your stomach would be full, and that would be very hard to store more food. So that's why your acid has to break it down. So you can store more food the next day, or next week, or next year, or next second, or next minute. So we need acid in our body so it can break down the food. And then it will turn into acid. Yeah. There are 3 kinds of cells in the stomach. One kind of cell secretes mucus. The second kind secretes enzymes. Yeah. And the third kind secretes hydrochloric and acid and water. So that is that. So we need acid in our stomach to break down the food and water. And they will travel to your intestines to go down into your backside or something. So yes, we have that. When enzyme, mucus, water, and hydrochloric acid combine, they produce gastric juice. Gastric juice is the correct pronunciation. So now we're going to learn about the intestines, which are very long and help the stomach. So, like with that food, it travels down your intestines into your anus, and that is where it goes out. So, the intestines are organs of the digestive system. So, the lungs work, the stomach and the intestines work together, just like the heart and lungs do, because they are both digestive systems. So, the small intestine is about 20 feet long and runs from the stomach to the beginning of the large intestine. So, it runs from the stomach, right? So, the small intestines are the ones inside. So like I'm gonna draw and it's gonna be really bad, but I don't really care. So we have like, pretend this, I don't know how to draw, okay. We have that, right? This is your large. This is the large one. And the one inside of the large one is the small one. So imagine there's like a big circle, right? Big circle, and then you have a small circle. So it's like you're putting you have a big circle, right? That's the large intestine, and you could put a small circle in there, right? Because the large intestine is bigger than the small intestine. It's bigger and wider. So you can fit the intestines not in, but like it's like a ball, and then the intestines are safely inside with a hole. But it's still safely inside. It breaks down food from the stomach and absorbs much of the nutrients from the food. So like imagine you're eating something that has nutrients, right? And then your intestines absorb the nutrients, much of the nutrients from the food that you have ate. The undigested food is pushed down the large intestine. So it's pushed down this part. Okay? Let's put down that part, the big part, right? It's pushed down the large one. The large intestine is about 5 feet long. So the small intestines are smaller, but the large intestines are larger than the small intestines. So the large one is shorter than the small one, but the small one is not wider. The large one is wider than the small ones. Okay? So this is like, imagine, this is how big the large intestine is. And this is like the small intestines. But they are longer and the big one is only short. Here, water and salt are absorbed from the undigested materials. The undigested food passes throughout the body through to the anus. And the anus is the process of removing undigested food from the body is called defecation. Defecation. So it has to be pushed. So your large intestines, imagine this is your, I'm gonna draw another one. So imagine, right? So this is the intestines. This is the small one, this is the big one. Okay? So this is the big and small. This is the big, that's the small. So the pointy part is called your anus. So this is called an anus. Now the anus is where the undigested food goes to. So right, this pointy part is your anus. Okay? Now we're going to learn about the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. Look, I'm not really good at saying the words because they're really hard. Okay. So the parts, we have bile ducts, which is like you know in the lungs they have like, so imagine I'm gonna draw a lung. Don't mind my drawing. They have these. They have these lines thing. I don't know. Okay, and now we have these in the liver, but I don't really know if they're exactly the same from the lungs into the liver. So, but those lines are called bile ducts bile duct in the liver. So I think the lines in the lungs are the blood vessels. I think, okay? Please don't judge. So we have bile ducts, liver, gallbladder, main pancreatic duct, pancreas, and common bile duct and duodenum. So, what do liver, gallbladder, and pancreas have in common? Pancreas. Anyways, the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas are accessory organs of the digestive system. So they're the digestive systems again, just like the stomach and intestines. So they must work together because they're both digestive. Well, we are going to find out if they work together. So, their main function is to produce substances that will aid in the process of digestion. The liver is the largest internal organ. Like the brain is the complex and largest, and is found slightly below a human's trunk. So slightly, right? So this is your trunk, right? Now it's slightly below, so it's probably over here. So right, it's below a human's trunk. It primarily produces bile, which assists in the digestion of fats or lipids. So fats or lipids. It is an excretory organ that removes the products of red blood cell breakdown. So if your blood cell breaks down, which means like has a technical issue, your liver will remove that breakdown and take it out. When the liver metabolizes the amino acids, it produces urea, which contains nitrogen. The gallbladder now is a tiny organ that is connected to the liver. So let's try and find it. So like the gallbladder, I'm gonna draw it I know what it looks like. So it's like a small and then it goes bigger. So this right here is your gallbladder. It is inside of your liver. Its functions is to store the bile produced by the liver. So its function is to store. It stores the bile produced by the liver. Now the pancreas is an organ that produces hormones that regulate the hemostasis of blood glucose. Pancreas. It also produces pancreatic juice, which helps. It helps neutralize the acid in the body. It helps. It also secretes. It also secretes lipase and an enzyme that breaks down fat molecules into simpler components or fatty acid and glycerol. So, your liver, right? You have a liver, right? You have a liver. And below, inside that liver is your gallbladder. And your pancreas is here, right below your liver. So your pancreas is a weird looking shape. So it's like corn, right? Imagine that I have a corn, right? Right? I have corn. But the corn is different shaped. So I'm just going to draw what it looks like. So imagine that it looks like corn, okay? My drawing might be bad, but that's what it looks like. So, kidneys and urinary bladder. What is the relationship between the kidneys and the urinary bladder? So, kidneys are two bean shape. So, they're like baked beans, right? But they're connected together. So, I'm gonna draw it. So, yeah. And again, please don't judge because I'm not really good at drawing. So we have that again. And there's little things connected into that. And there's also your bladder is connected to your kidneys as well. So let's talk about your bladder and your kidneys. So here, right now, I have drawn the kidneys and they are connected to that bladder. The sharp part is called urethra. So, but that circle is called the bladder. Now these two are your kidneys.